Want to know how to make your house invincible? Or how to travel at light speed? Here are 331 Minecraft build hacks you probably didn't know. This quick hack lets you harvest an entire field in an instant. Plants need a certain light level, so if you have a redstone lantern to provide that, then switch it off when it's time to harvest. All the veg will burst out at once, ready to be picked up or collected in hoppers under the soil. This hack is a fresh twist on a classic. Paintings can be used to hide entrances, but that can be too obvious. Instead, hide a pressure plate behind it that activates when you drop an item through the painting, activating whatever secret mechanism you want to set up. Sometimes smart hacks use the weirdest items, like this stairway of dripstone and smaller cake slices. Use a horse which can travel over a single block height without jumping, and the weird hitboxes of the items will send you rocketing up the stairway at high speeds. Tired of creatures jumping fences? Try this hack where you set down a bunch of trapdoors and flip them up. They'll act as fences that the AI just can't understand and won't be able to escape from. Here's Johnny, the murderous vindicator, and here he is in this weird hack, killing these animals for our food. See, when you tag a vindicator with the name Johnny, he will kill anything in sight. And if you trap him in a mob farm, the animals he kills drop their loot into the chest without you having to lift a finger. This may look like a magical optical illusion, but it's actually just a bunch of stairs and slabs placed in this special way. You can place coral fans on trapdoors like this to make colorful lily pads. Lanterns can also be placed below lily pads to make them glow at night. And you can finish up your pond by placing hanging roots below stained glass to add jellyfish. If you want to show off how rich you are, how about building a huge quartz grand piano? If you place dragon heads on armor stands below some stairs, the ears will pop out and look like keys. You can make rope bridges by building up fences and then attaching leads to them. Don't worry about him. This also works to make balloons. Yay! Ladders can be placed on trapdoors to make extra thin ladders that don't take up much room. And if you're really clever, you can use this to make double-sided ladders by using a layout like this. Inside the house is a huge bed that lets you sleep under the covers in this genius hack. Surround your bed in trapdoors and make a larger frame. And cover the top of your beds with carpet. Hanging signs are a fun recent addition. You can use them to make an innovative, if scary-looking bridge. What's amazing about this is that players can walk on it, but a lot of mobs will fall through the gaps. You can also use the hanging signs to make a broken bridge. This can hang off the side of a cliff for a fun and foreboding decoration to a castle or village. A secret stairway can be a great feature for your house, and all it takes is some redstones and some sticky pistons connected to your stairs in this crazy trick. The backs of the stairs will blend in with the rest of the wall until you turn the handle and expose it all. Everyone loves a good explosion, so here's a way to make a totally invisible and instant landmine. Just place a bunch of TNT minecarts on some powered rails like this and hook them up to a skulk sensor right next to them. Sneak away and you've got the best hidden way to protect your house. Isn't it so crazy? Ah! My house! But if you want a slightly less destructive method of protection, it's time to hire some soldiers. Bees will actually stay aggravated permanently, meaning if you trap a bunch below the floor in your base and rig them up to release when any intruders enter, they'll swarm them instantly and even chase them down for miles. Let's be honest though, you don't want anyone in your base at all. So it's time to up the security. With just a couple chains and walls, you can create a cool looking fence, but add some magma blocks covered in moss below and it will actually turn into an electrified laser fence. It works too. If you're standing on the magma, you can't actually break the chain before you die. And if you're super rich, try building this design with iron bars, cobwebs, and magic potion dispensers below the ground. If you rig this tripwire up to shoot damage potions, it'll really send a message to robbers. And it's a cool piece of decoration too. A great way to protect your base from both mobs and players is to hide pufferfish underground around your base. Moss carpets are a super easy way to sneak them into your decoration, and waterlogging even allows you to hide them in bushes and trees. Ow! Oh god, I'm getting flashbacks! If you're feeling really mean though, the best way to deal with thieves isn't to kill them, but trap them permanently. Using a simple piston trap, you can force a player into a bubble elevator like this, surrounded in obsidian. Due to the bubbles pushing them around, it'll be almost impossible to mine it even with a pickaxe. Using maps and item frames, you can build huge 2D replicas of fake blocks and create super detailed hidden entrances you can use to hide almost anything. Check out this desert. See anything wrong? There's actually 2 hidden bases here, one inside this cactus and one behind this sand block. All you need to do is place the maps inside an item frame placed on a sign, and your base is suddenly invisible. You can actually make a base in the void. Sure, you can't place blocks down here, even in creative mode, but there's an illegal workaround. Using a chicken, leads, and boats, you can spawn shulkers down here and walk on them as if they're normal blocks. They'll even use levitation to send you back up. Look, all of us have wanted to live inside a video game at one point, and with some glass, terracotta, and buttons, you can. Imagine seeing this while playing on your Nintendo Switch. Hang on, I think I'm trapped! Let me out! Let me out! Huh? Oh god, that's even worse! This base can't be blown up, even with 1000 TNT. Surrounding your base with waterlogged stairs makes it completely protected from all explosions, including creepers, completely going against what Notch intended. Sorry, bro. Waterlogged blocks completely break the game. Lily pads can be placed on any block that's waterlogged, creating illegal-looking setups like this. But you can make it look even weirder by placing sugarcane next to the lily pads. Another build hack is this weird new flower. Because this thing is 2 blocks tall when it's fully grown, you can put string above it to keep it at its 3rd stage, and use it to look like a weird, overgrown potato in your farms. A lot of the time, the builds you make look like they've been thrown into the world randomly and look super out of place. To fix this, try making shadows by placing slightly darker blocks near overhangs or edges. You can even add mossy blocks around trees to act as fallen leaves. The inside of a mangrove log looks suspiciously like a nice piece of juicy meat. Moving on. Using some lightning rods, armor stands, and a campfire, you can make a super tasty looking hog roast. And if you think this flame is too big, you can place an armor stand and lava underneath for a much tamer flame. If you've ever tried to use crops like wheat as decoration, you've probably run into this problem. However, this illegal build hack will fix that. Water can actually hydrate dirt across thin air, letting you make things like these garden pots without visible water. Try using an upside down lightning rod with a candle placed on top to make a weirdly tall torch. It won't be quite as bright, but hey, you can stand on the edge of the rod for some reason. Let's be honest though, one of the best ways to protect your base is to just hide it really well. So next time you're feeling too lazy to set up tons of traps on your turf, try heading to a snowy biome and hiding it like this. Pick a random snow-covered block and place a few scaffolding below it. Then dig 2 holes either side, add a bubble elevator in one, and now you have an invisible base that you can even crouch around in to hide your name tag. That's if you can remember where you put it, which, let's be honest, I can't. Mobs have got way better at pathfinding compared to how they used to be, but they still have some issues. For some reason, they still don't see carpets as blocks. So if you fill a pit like this with them, you're totally protected from mobs. 2 tall flowers like sunflowers and roses work for this too. If you're like me and can never remember where you put your secret entrances, try this out. Shulker boxes are a great way to sort your items. But if I jump on top of this one and open it, suddenly I'm in my 2nd secret base. For some reason, you can fall through shulker boxes if there's a block above your head, allowing for a perfect entrance that you can even color code and use as storage. Everyone knows zombies love turtle eggs, or hate them, I guess. But you can actually use this to protect your base. With just a single turtle egg and a trapdoor, you can create this super simple zombie trap that will kill every zombie nearby for you for almost no cost. Fences work great to hold an animal, so this genius hack uses trapdoors to trap creatures without you having to work at all. Mobs don't realize that you can hop over a trapdoor on both sides, and so once they've hopped over one side, they can't go back, getting stuck in your perfect little pen. Upside down buildings and trees are great fun, but this lets you have animals there too. Use the dinner bone name tag trick on an animal and leash them to a post 5 blocks above the upside down door, and they'll stand on that floor just like the other decoration. I'm always finding myself running out of room for storage, but who said we're not allowed to just build our house out of barrels or chests? Problem solved. Now I can get all of my items when Hey! Give that back! Okay, everybody knows about the painting entrance by now, but what if we use that to our advantage? All people do is walk into the painting to see if there's anything hidden, but this painting has a pressure plate behind it you can activate with an item. I guarantee you, nobody will find this one. Let's face it, everybody's realized that amethyst is pretty useless, so I don't think anyone would mind you setting up camp inside one. They're the perfect size to fit all your decorations in, and crimson wood goes perfectly with the amethyst color. That's just cherry wood if you're living in the future. Gathering materials for a base can take forever. Why not just cut that part out entirely? Leaves are the fastest block to collect in the game, so just shear a bunch of them and build your house out of those. I'd make sure to set up a few lightning rods though, because that could go very wrong. But if you want to take it even further, try building this thing instead. It's got all of the blocks you need for a home, including a brewing stand and an anvil. And you're even safe from mobs in the bed too. I don't know if I'd call it a base though. It's more like being homeless. You can make a perfect little cage for parrots by pushing a piece of stained glass on top of them. For dogs, try a solid block instead. Try this pit trap as a dirty trick to play. Dig a huge hole, put up a bunch of scaffolding to cover the top. Cover that with snow and put a little treat in the center. Hide at the bottom and wait for them to take the bait. Then hit the scaffold and watch them tumble down to their death. Here's a trick they might not notice at first, but will hate when they notice. Dig out the blocks under your friend's house, then put path blocks all around it. Path blocks are slightly smaller, so the gap will show the empty underside of their house, but only if you're looking carefully. Once they notice, they'll see it everywhere. This will also help with this truly terrible trick. This gap under the house will fill up with monsters as they spawn in the dark. When your friend least expects it, will hear the growl of a zombie dangerously close, and would have no idea where it's coming from. Glowstone and sea lanterns are things of the past. Instead, try placing placing turtle eggs on top of end rods to make a lampshade. By placing an armor stand with a chainmail helmet inside a block like this, you can add a pressure plate on top and make a cool decorative chessboard. You can't play it though, not that I even know how. If you place food on an item frame below a pressure plate, looks like it's being served on a dinner plate. Most people make castle gates, they're called portcullises by the way. Most people make portcullises with fences or walls, but the lecterns make a perfect and super unique version instead. Plain block walls can look boring, so try adding extra blocks of similar colors for more texture. This coupled with glass panes placed like this can make a room much more interesting. You could also just use wall blocks as they're literally made for building walls. You can even mix a type of wall round for extra variety. This also works for adding texture to outside walls. And finally, might be a good use for the brick block. People have been using cobwebs for chimney smoke since the dawn of time, so instead you can use coral fans to create a similar but more interesting effect. Alternatively, you could use a campfire to make actual animated smoke to bring a little bit of life to your builds. But my favorite use for campfires is to place them under the floor in any of my spookier builds, lake, a cave, or a graveyard. The smoke will rise up and make fog that's mysterious and, honestly, a little claustrophobic. Dripstone can drop and do real damage, so why not use this hack to make a fun defense for your castle? Bounce the dripstone off these slime blocks and pistons, and the stone will be launched out toward any incoming players storming your fort. Powdered snow is technically a full block, but you can actually pass through it with this weird hack. It turns out you can fly through it with elytra, passing through to the other side without losing any speed. So why not use it as a secret wall or entrance? Ice and water travel systems for your items can end up with traffic jams, especially the corners, so use this build hack to make your system perfecto. Put 2 sea pickles at the corner and they will guide the items around the corners, sticking to the edge of the tunnel, straight to their destination. Get your minecarts going fast with this high-speed hack with much less redstone. Minecarts take turns fast, so if you lay your rails out into these circles, the minecarts will turn constantly, gaining super fast and still in a straight line. Just close your eyes while it's happening. This quick and easy hack lets you build an iron farm really fast and really early in the game. All you need is an iron golem spawning platform that's very small and a campfire at the top, leaving no room for the golem to walk away from it, taking damage and dropping all of its precious iron. Unfortunately, snowmen don't do damage to mobs with their attacks, but they will push them back and get their attention. If you spread a bunch of them out in tall towers around your base, it'll totally stop any mobs from attacking you and keep you safe. And if it's players you're worried about, try swapping a snowman out for a skeleton and adding fire around it to create a truly spicy surprise for any intruders. I think the most underrated item in 1.20 is the calibrated skulk sensor. When you place an amethyst block next to it, it'll relay any signal it gets to any other nearby sensors. Using this, you can create essentially infinite wireless redstone that's only activated by certain noises in certain places. So if I eat this piece of food here, sensors will relay the signal along and teleport me using this Ender Pearl stasis machine. This will make your base literally impossible to find. You should know that if you're playing on hard mode, a door probably isn't enough to keep you safe from zombies. So instead, try placing 2 end rods like this as a door instead. You can slide through perfectly, but mobs have a really hard time. And if end rods aren't your style, this works with bamboo, different kinds of fences, and even lightning rods, but I'll be careful using these in bad weather. These do have a slight drawback though, as if you manage to anger enough mobs, they can push each other through. So for an entrance that's almost foolproof, add a line of cobblestone walls with some carpets on top. Not even spiders can get past. And for even more detail in these buildings, try using this square character to make it look like signs are nailed down. This works really well for boarding up doors and windows. You can even use spruce trap doors placed on the ground to give the effect that a door was broken down. Waterlogged stairs can be used to make tiny creeks that wind throughout your buildings, but a more practical use for them is to add water sources to your farms that you can't fall into. Animation is the best way to make any building come alive, and the absolute easiest way to do this is to hide a spore blossom somewhere. They create a bunch of these tiny little green particles that are just so pretty. Sometimes the flames from fire and campfires are just way too big, so instead try putting an armor stand below ground and lava for a much smaller and way cuter little flame. Oh, look at it, so tiny. By placing banners below stair blocks, you can make couches with cushions. This also works for beds and comfy chairs. If you want to be able to actually use your chairs, you can push a stair or slab into a minecart and you'll be able to sit in it. And if you want chairs to put outside, campfires make great benches coupled with signs and trapdoors. They also work great in log piles to add extra detail in the form of tiny little logs or sticks, as some people call them. I also like to add barrels, fences, and slabs to these to add extra detail and storage to a survival build like this. This genius hack means this water will not spill out of its little space. It looks like nothing's stopping it, but it's actually the glow light chin on the sides here that completely stops the water flowing out. It blends into a room so much better than a sign does too. Make a near invisible elevator using humble leather boots. Basically, if you have a white room, you can put powdered snow instead of a wall and use leather boots to climb up it, making your new elevator near invisible. Carpets can hide a lot of things. Hide a redstone block underneath the carpet and it will still activate when you step on it, which can then open up all sorts of contraptions without making noise like a pressure plate would. Do you want to remove the hostile mobs from your survival world? Try building a mob switch. This hack lets you do it quick and easy, just using villagers. If you trade with one, then zombify them, they won't despawn, and count toward the amount of hostile mobs in the area, so no extra ones will appear. This simple hack lets you turn minecarts into two-seaters, with speed you can control. It turns out you can actually put a boat in the minecart and have it still work. The boat can fit 2 people, and when you row it, it actually changes the speed of the minecart, letting you go faster! Check this hack that lets you fly at the side of this building. It's not a potion or elytra, it's actually a hidden bubble stream on the other side of these honey blocks. The honey is small enough that you can still use the stream, and if you want to hide the honey, just cover them in item frames with maps on top. This farm hack is actually brilliant because even when you're not there, none of the sugar cane will fall out or despawn, because the cane is actually standing on mud. Mud is a smaller block, and items pass right through it, so using that with a hopper underneath, all the sugar cane will land where it needs to. In a snowy area, try this bouncy castle trick. Build a castle with a spot where you need to drop down. Cover the lower area with slime blocks. Cover that with snow. And when your friend drops down onto it, they'll bounce wildly out of control into whatever hazard you want. This trick is simple and classic. Chests don't open when there's a block above them, so put some obsidian on top and watch your friends slowly chip away just so they can access their tools. Sometimes the hardest part of building a hidden base is actually finding a location first, so try this sneaky idea out. Nobody ever goes into these scary water-filled lush caves, so try and take a swim down there yourself. Place a door and get to work. But come on, a regular door just isn't gonna cut it. So instead, try placing a pressure plate on the other side of a corner like this, connecting it to a piston and using an arrow to activate it. It works underwater too. Most people think underwater bases have to be super complicated and hard to build, but you can actually just chuck a bed and some chests down and it works fine, if you can hold your breath. Honey blocks are actually just a tiny bit smaller than a regular block, which means you shoot directly through them. It means you can also use them to create secret perilous pathways to your hidden base. Bonus points if you chuck some dripstone at the bottom to really make it dangerous. For some weird reasons, you can phase straight through shulker boxes if you open them in a certain way. All you have to do is stand on top of one with a roof above your head, and it'll push you down and through to whatever you've built below. Speaking of shulker boxes, they're actually invisible when you get far away enough, just the same as beds and chests. So to create your very own totally invisible base, just head up a couple hundred blocks, build a shulker box platform, place a bed, and you're golden. Nobody will ever find this. But sky bases can sometimes be a little annoying to reach, so for a super accessible and equally hidden base, try this. Head to any snowy biome and stick some scaffolding underneath a random block. Put the snow back and you've made a completely undetectable underground base, and one that looks really funny to enter too. Shoot enemies from the safety of a bunker by using dirt paths. They're actually 1 pixel shorter than regular blocks, so if you stand behind one and have a block above your head, you can see a slight gap between them, and can even shoot arrows through the gap. This other super hack can turn your regular vines into fruit-bearing plant life. Just put redstone ore behind the vines, and the color will shine through, giving a good breakup to all the green and brown. Put some berry bushes to fill out the space even more. This cool design hack lets you create a seamless transition between dirt and stone. Just use glow lichen on coarse dirt, and it looks remarkably like stone that's emerging from dirt. It's a great middle point between the two. This genius hack shows that string can be great for a lot of things, including keeping your plants at the height that you want. Put the string above your bamboo or sugarcane, and you can keep that thing small forever. There are plants where you don't need string at all, and it's thanks to an item from last year. Now, certain vines can be snipped with shears, so they stop growing entirely. A secret trick you can use to make an atmospheric room is to let it be dark and only light up using redstone ore. They can act as a light, but only when activated, which includes stepping on them. It can light up a dark pathway in style. Unfortunately, you can only get invisible item frames in creative, but there's sort of a solution in survival. If you place a block in an item frame on the floor, a snow layer will fully cover up the item frame but leave the block exposed, allowing you to, I don't know, make pebbles or something? You know how to make a birdcage? But how about an aquarium? This one's actually even easier, but probably just as cruel. All you have to do is surround a chest with trapdoors, place a glass block on top, then waterlog the chest with a bucket of fish, and boom! You've trapped him forever. Sorry, fishy. Cobwebs aren't just good for making a cave or mine shaft feel extra creepy. They're also good for adding custom smoke to chimneys and for adding a net to a basketball hoop. Most people know you can make a really convincing dead tree with stripped logs and mangrove roots. So instead, try creating a dead warped tree with muddy mangrove roots, dead coral, and hanging roots. Oh yeah, muddy mangrove roots with a candle on top top makes a pretty convincing rotten melon if you ever need that for some reason. Rooted dirt finally gave us another dirt block that's not just gonna turn into grass instantly, giving us way more decoration options. One of my favorite ways to use this is to mix rooted and coarse dirt in a pattern like this to make wheel tracks through a forest. Most people use fences, slabs, or iron bars for balcony railings. But come on, I'm too short! I can't see over! Instead, try adding carpets on top of barriers to create this sleek, modern railing that you can actually see past. If you want to do this in survival, you can use string instead for the same effect. This trick also works to hide lighting blocks in your roof. Yeah, just ignore the cobwebs up there. They stop the roof falling down. Looms kind of look like empty bookshelves, so you can mix in a few to make it look like you actually read. If you want to add more life to a hedge, you can place sunflowers in invisible item frames to add flowers. Drip leaves also work really well as a natural archway if you need a way through. And of course, a garden isn't complete without a lawn, especially one of those weird stripy ones that rich people all seem to have for some reason. If you want to do the same, use lines of grass and moss to make it look realistic and perfectly mown. But if you want to do the opposite and make a barren, dead landscape, mangrove roots and spruce fences make a great dead bush that's much better looking than this. You can also use mangrove roots with stripped bark to make a dead tree, and basalt works perfectly to use in burned down forests. Also, for some reason, you can place fish and axolotls in waterlogged mangrove roots, which is just cruel. Why on earth is this a thing? Want to get your plants to stop growing so tall? Try this simple hack by placing string at the top. It will actually stop your plant from growing any further, and it's almost invisible. Perfect when you want to take a fancy picture without the bamboo blocking the shot. The sound of villagers waking you to the sound of their people can be great, but not if they all die during the night. So try this build hack to get them safe indoors. Bells can be activated with redstone, so just put a pressure plate by your bed, and when you go to rest, so will they. Do you need a protector for your base? How about a guardian with this simple hack? Put a guardian outside your home, and any player coming for your goodies will get blasted! Here's a defense hack that looks invisible. It's actually these azalea bushes, because apparently mobs don't know how to jump over them even though you can. So if you want a safe house that doesn't look like a prison, this works great. Also, killing mob farms are great for items, but this hack lets you get the XP from it too. Just sit one of your dogs next to a non-fatal drop like this. They'll get that last hit, and you'll get the experience. What a great team up. Speaking of mob farms, it can be a hassle making them, especially in the nether. But if you're specifically trying to get Enderman, this high IQ hack can make it way easier. Enderman hates Endermite, so use them as bait above a hole, and the Enderman will drop right in for the easy killing. Decoys are the #1 best way to help hide your base, and you can even cover them with traps. Try building this water drop chute somewhere obvious. Let's add a tripwire halfway down. As soon as it triggers, this piston pushes a block over, leaving the thief in a very unfortunate situation. Another way to create a great decoy is with paintings. If you cover a wall with all sorts of paintings, an intruder is always going to try and just walk on through. However, if you build this setup, you can totally trick them, as a real entrance requires throwing an item in here and being squished through this trapdoor. It's quite sophisticated, just like my art collection. Yes. All these methods are quite expensive though. If you want the cheapest possible way to protect your base, try literally just placing boats all the way around it. When it turns nighttime, any mobs that try to attack will get stuck in them and serve as a defense against players. Another super cheap method of defense is to just wire up a super annoying noise to start playing as soon as someone enters. When this door is opened, an observer gets pushed over here and triggers all these blocks over and over, creating a circuit that will drive a thief crazy and even work as a perfect alarm system. Everyone wants a secret underwater base, but will often forget where it is. Well, how about this genius hack that uses a magma bubble column? It'll drag you down to the right spot to activate a hidden door or redstone contraption, letting you into your own personal underwater home. This warped fungi is the key to this home with this new hack. You basically have to hold a strider hidden in the wall, sitting in a 2-block space of flowing lava. If you hold out the warped fungi, the strider will walk up the lava to get it, activating the mechanism and opening the door. Then when you put the fungi away, the strider will slide back into place. One crazy Minecraft fact is that chests don't burn, even in lava. So if you want to hide your valuables, put them under a lava lake. If it's shallow enough, like 1 block deep, then you can access the chest while staying on dry land, and the lava will cover it completely. Did you know that mob heads fit perfectly on top of wall blocks? Skeleton skulls also match really well with andesite or diorite walls, zombie skulls with mossy cobble, and wither skulls with deep slate walls. I don't know what you could use this for other than making gravestones, but hey, you again! Stop taking my job! The nerve of some people. Anyway, ever wanted to play pool in Minecraft? Well, you can't, sorry to disappoint. But you can make a pretty cool looking pool table by placing signs like this underneath green carpets and then surrounding it with trapdoors. But for a build hack you can use, try building this hammock. Hook it up using fence gates on the side, then attach some stairs, trapdoors to place the bed on, and some signs to complete the shape. You can even change the bed color to match the wood type for peak color coordinated comfort. Banners can be used to add illegal levels of detail in builds, but they're not just for marking maps or making a crappy coat of arms. Take Nick's J-Man's incredible train build he made using banners to perfectly match the real-life version. If people are literally making real trains now, what's your excuse? Circles are illegal in Minecraft, but with command blocks you can make one with an armor stand that rotates. This spawns stands as it rotates, with sand blocks on their head. Use a command to face the center stand and make the stands invisible for a perfect circle. The fastest way to get home is with an ender pearl stasis chamber. It's a fun technique where a pearl is kept hovering in a bubble elevator. If you connect it to a daylight sensor, when night comes, the bubble stream stops, and the pearl lands, teleporting you back home. Most shulkers are easy to spot, but if you use this summon command, the shulker will be dyed a different color. They now look just like a dyed shulker box instead. You could replace your friend's box with one to freak them out when they try to get their stuff. Ever wanted to feel what it's like to be a shulker? Crawl down into a 1-block space with a shulker block underneath you. When you open the box, then close it again, you'll end up inside the box. Let me out! Trapdoors and chains make perfect hanging chairs for garden or parks, and flower pots attached to chains look like hanging plants. But sometimes the chains that we have in the game just don't look like enough to hold up our big builds. So instead, try linking a bunch of grindstones like this. That looks much more stable. Pathways are super important for tying a village together. So instead of just using gravel and cobblestone, try using andesite and even dead coral blocks for extra variety and texture. The same goes for floors. Mud mixed with brown mushrooms and terracotta makes an awesome floor for muddy farms. Barrels and spruce planks look great for a creaky attic floor. And beehives are a super interesting block to use for the floor of a cute little cottage you've built. You can also try using blast furnaces, cartography tables, and a bunch of other blocks to make unique and interesting floor designs. Be creative with it. Dripstone makes an awesome trunk for a palm tree, and you can even use conduits to add coconuts, at least if you squint. Think candles are just another light source? Here's a bunch of reasons why you're wrong. Firstly, you can make a pond plant called a cattail by placing a green candle on a glass pane. An end rod plus a candle, redstone torch, or iron bar makes a perfect sword replica. It's always annoyed me that lanterns can't float, but with the help of candles, they can. Damn, it kinda looks like Hogwarts in here. Red candles look suspiciously like tiny sticks of dynamite that you can mix with TNT for more detail in your cave builds. Cacti in real life often have pretty pink flowers on top, and you guessed it, pink candles perfectly replicate this. Building a computer on your computer is a classic for Minecraft, so when you've set up your painting and pressure plate, try using a candle in an item frame instead of a button as your mouse. It looks scarily accurate. And finally, grey candles and skeleton skulls on a stone wall make a really cool design. Have another great defense hack that brings an adorable edge to your builds. If you want to keep creepers away from blowing up all your hard work, get a bunch of cats. The more, the better. Creepers and even phantoms are afraid of them, and will turn and run if the cat gets too close. This hack lets you show off a puffer fish in a glass case, puffed up at all times. It does this because there's actually an armored stand underneath, keeping it on edge. Above the stand is a waterlogged chest, keeping the fish alive, and a picture frame to cover that up. The glass case is a block that's been pushed on top with a piston to keep the fish in place. Optical illusions can be used in some crazy hacks, like this house that watches you wherever you go, thanks to the way those creepy eyes have been made. They actually sink into the building, creating that creepy illusion. I've got my eye on you. This weird hack takes advantage of a cute little axolotl. If you tie a leash to one and connect that to a post, that post gets this cool rope model put on it. And when you pick the axolotl up again in the bucket, the leash is gone, but the rope stays, providing a nice detail to your fancy bridge or fence. Check out this insane near illegal hack, where this water is somehow protected from the lava. What's actually happening is that the lower block has a waterlogged sign, and that sign is keeping the lava up, while the waterlogging makes sure it doesn't burn. It's a crazy hack which can be a crazy decoration to show your friends. This genius hack lets you recreate the nether in the overworld, including totally not zombified piglins. To do this, you simply replace regular dirt with blocks and entities from the nether. But piglins zombify in the overworld, so disguise that with a piglin head forced onto them using a dispenser. Include some armor and weapons to hide the rest of their body too. If you want to hide your valuables, don't put them on a chest out in the open. Hide a barrel behind that chest, and you can still access it without people noticing it's there. This illegal machine lets you open a door simply by taking off a piece of armor. If you set it up exactly like I did here, and turn this lectern to page 8, you'll create an undetectable illegal entrance that you shouldn't be able to build. build. Oh, it also activates when a Ravager roars, but I think you've got bigger problems if that happens. If you're ever stranded at night surrounded by mobs, you can use a composter? But that's right, jumping inside a composter with a trapdoor on top protects you from skeletons, creepers, and all other mobs in a pinch, making this an illegal, completely portable base. But if you want a more permanent house that's just as quick to build, try bone mealing a red mushroom, chucking a floor in, adding some decorations, and you've got a perfect little fairy tale house that definitely wasn't meant to be a base. If you hide a leashed chicken underground, you can attach the lead to a fence and make what kinda looks like a floating balloon house. You can add some actual balloons up top, and you've basically got the house from up. You know those little waterfalls that come out of mountains? They're perfect for secret entrances. Just break one block behind the source and dig down a little, and then you're free to build anything you want down there. Just be careful not to place any lights too close to the entrance, because that looks sus. If you use invisible item frames with the fake block trick from before, you can create one-way glass that you can use to secretly spy on all of your friends. This one definitely feels illegal. Uh-oh. It was a creeper! But sometimes players aren't just trying to steal your loot. They're out for blood. So an alarm system just won't cut it. To truly fortify your base, try building your base using stairs placed like this. If you fill them with water, it won't spill everywhere. And it makes your entire base completely resistant to TNT, stopping raiders and creepers in their tracks. And if you want to take this to the next level, try placing a line of observers below the outside blocks hooked up to TNT. These will trigger as soon as the stairs are broken, blowing the raiders up instantly while your base sits there totally unharmed. Remember back in the old days of the game when the best traps just involved placing gravel above signs? Well, these got 1,000 times better with scaffolding. Now, instead of spending ages placing signs perfectly, you can just place a layer of scaffolding hooked up to a piston, stick some carpets above it, and as soon as it's triggered, it'll plunge any players and their loot directly into this pit of lava. The most difficult part of creating a secret base is trying to hide the entrance, so try this idea out. Build a regular wheat or potato farm above wherever you want your base to be. Then break a block behind a crop like this and hide a button in there. Not only is this almost impossible to see, but nobody will ever suspect this lovely little farm being the place you hide all your valuable gear. This super high IQ hack lets you farm mobs in the nether. Most mob farms use water to funnel the mobs into a drop that kills them, but you can't do that in the nether. So instead, use gas in Minecraft. Their big hitbox pushes other mobs to the edges, where you can put a drop down to their doom. It can be great to make a village of your own, complete with villagers, but you need this hack to protect them from invaders. Fill a dispenser with armor and use it to launch the set into a villager. The village will actually use the armor, a perfect defense for your peaceful town. Campfires can look great in your home, but not if it smokes up the place. This hack removes the smoke completely. Just put 2 layers of string on top and the smoke stops. Filling a swimming pool with buckets of water can take way too long. So try this speedy hack instead. Stack ice blocks along 2 edges with a gap between, and then break them down at speed with a pickaxe. The water will spill out in such a way that the whole pool gets filled like magic. You can create a wood house filled with lava. That's totally safe. Barrels don't burn in lava, and they're also the size and function of a full block, so you can use them as part of the wall construction. Add a lava lake to freak out your friends because they will not burn. Another way to hide things is with a smoke screen. Put a secret stone above a campfire and the smoke will billow up, disguising the gray button with the gray clouds so that nobody will know it's even there. Use it to hide a secret base entrance. Hide a lever using a dirt path. They're a pixel shorter than regular dirt blocks, and so make a 1 pixel gap when set against them. You can hide anything down in that space, including a lever for a secret entrance that's almost invisible. A waterlogged leaf block on top of a fence, or walls look suspiciously like a globe.
But Mallow, the Earth isn't square!
Oh, actually. Pow! See? Think building like a pro is difficult? Think again and watch this. If you're building walls like this, you're doing it all wrong. Instead, grab some blocks that are similar and scatter them around a bit. You can use stairs to add extra depth and even add patterns in front to make it extra interesting. And just like that, you're leveling up your building super easily. The same goes for floors, both inside and out. Spending a couple minutes making a block palette can add tons of detail, like adding beehives in with oak planks, brown mushrooms in with mud, and moss in with grass outside. There's tons of ways to make supersized versions of different foods in Minecraft. Obviously, you can use a sea pickle for a melon or pumpkin stem, but you can also put a mangrove propagule on top of a mangrove log for a bulbous beetroot, a warped vine on some honeycomb for a peculiar pineapple, and a sea pickle on another wart block for a tomato. For extra farm decoration, you can add barrels full of berries by placing coral blocks above water surrounded by trap trapdoors. This works with raw iron to make potato barrels, and you can even try making a larger version with crimson planks below as a grape stomping barrel outside a vineyard. Looms are one of the weirdest looking blocks in the game, but you can actually use them to make empty bookshelves, escalators, air conditioning units outside buildings, and cool looking roofs for your house. And if it's a detailed bookshelf you're going for, 1.20 added this secret way to put a 3D book model on a shelf. Just add an armor stand under the block you want like this, and place a leather helmet with a white coast armor trim applied. Push a block down from above and it'll look exactly like a spare book left out on the table. But as it turns out, Mojang might want to brush past some older Minecraft snapshots too. As in an old snapshot, you could actually grow furnaces? By using a command to spawn a pumpkin with an impossible growth phase, a furnace would grow out of the ground underneath it. It's common knowledge that dispensers can't place blocks. But did you know that dispensers are actually able to place blocks if it means they can summon a golem or the wither? Dispensing a carved pumpkin on top of 2 snow blocks will create a snow golem, just as if you placed the block there. A pretty cool way to win a bet and scam your friends out of their hand-earned diamond. Or just do it for fun. But come on, who does that? In Minecraft Bedrock, zombified piglins have a very small chance to spawn into the other world when a nether portal is first lit, which can make for a very scary surprise. Some players, however, have capitalized on this to make overpowered piglin farms that give infinite gold and resources. Curing a zombie villager takes forever, but what most people don't know is you can actually speed up this process. For whatever reason, placing beds and iron bars around the villager will actually speed up the curing process by about 4%, which sure isn't that much, but hey, every second counts. However, you can also just place string on top of walls to add a tiny piece of extra detail. You can place bushes, bamboo, cactus, or propagules in a flower pot below leaves to emulate trunks and stem for plants. And adding vines to these leaves adds a little bit of texture that stops these plants from looking too plain. Oh, I felt like I should remind you that the muddy mangrove root block exists. Why? Did you know that the best Minecraft builders actually get given a special custom cape by Mojang to show off how good they are? It's called the Realms Cape, and you can only get it if 3 or more of your maps have been accepted and used by Mojang themselves. And it looks way better than your Gucci jacket, mate. Dried kelp blocks look strangely like trash bags. Banners sway very subtly in the wind, which means you can use a specific banner design with trapdoors to make it look like they're a pair of blinking eyes. You can do the same with item frames to make flashing lights. Are regular carpets too boring for you? First of all, what's your problem? Carpets are awesome and fluffy and incredible, but secondly, you can use coral fans on waterlogged slabs to make more interesting 3D cool colorful carpets. Alternatively, you can place crimson or warped signs underneath to make different patterns, but they look best when you mix in lots of different blocks and techniques to add variety in both texture and depth. This works for bookshelves too. Beehives, stairs, looms, and more all work great to add extra interest and variety. Have you ever realized that frog lights look kind of like those paper lanterns people release on different holidays? Oh, this gives me an idea. Just add some hanging roots below and you've destroyed the environment. I made a beautiful light show. Yes. Natural structures are basically just pre-built houses for you to use. Shipwrecks and jungle temples work great, but my favorite is the desert temple. Not only does it come with multiple rooms and doorways, it even has a section up top that perfectly fits a fully built beacon. What a time to be alive. Here's how to make a completely hidden base beneath your bed. Dig a hole beneath where your bed will go, add some trapdoors up top, and 2 minecarts placed like this on top of some ladders. Then add 2 beds on top and surround them with more trapdoors. Trust me, nobody's gonna find this. And if they do, ask them why they're snooping around your bed. You can also just use a stair below the bed, but that's way easier to see. Now, obviously, the best way to hide a base is to simply just put it behind a wall. But breaking and replacing the wall every time is so annoying. But luckily, there's a solution. If you create a stone generator that replaces the block that you break, all you'll have to do is break the blocks each time, and they'll magically cover up the entrance every time. I guarantee every one of us has tried to build one of these tree houses in the jungle, but let's face it, they look terrible. Instead, head to a taiga and try this out instead. You can build it in 2 minutes for super cheap, and it keeps you safe from all the mobs. Except phantoms! The cold biomes offer a bunch more cool houses too, including this ice spike base I built when I was just a lad. It's even simpler than the last one. Just clear out some ice, chuck a door on, and now you can pretend you're Superman! The powder snow you can find in these biomes makes for an awesome hidden entrance too. Not only can you hide some in the ground like the scaffold entrance, you can create a hidden ladder up a cliff with it that you can only climb with leather boots. We can take another of Etho's ideas and use a lava curtain to make a hidden entrance. He used his ender pearls, but come on, it's a man cave. Be a man! Ow, it's so hot, ow! Here's a cool hack for storage space and style. Putting barrels at the head of your bed gives a look of a headboard, and that will be stylish in most homes. Plus, since they're barrels, you can put your valuables in there. Trees can look great, but this lets you decide decide how they grow. If you want it tall with no leaves pushing out until it's above your house, put blocks around your sapling up to the height you want. It'll grow into that shape just like a real tree. Herd your animals with speed with this dangerous hack. Put a block of water in their habitat so if they escape, you can set them on fire. They'll run back to the water and you can close the gate on them with no hassle at all. This secret hack's been around for as long as you could till dirt, but it rarely gets used. Till dirt doesn't carry redstone signals, while regular dirt does. When you till the dirt, it breaks the signal and can activate a secret door or some hidden trap to spring on your farming friends. This fun hack will protect your buildings from being mined away by dirty, griefing players. It's simple. Just hide an Elder Guardian underneath your home, and breaking your walls and floors will become near impossible. Another way to defend is to make sure your enemy actually dies with this high IQ hack. Normally, your enemy can jump out of lava, but if you put a honey block under a cauldron with lava in it, it becomes way harder and almost guarantees they won't survive. This weird hack lets you actually sleep among the fishes. It turns out you can put a bed underwater, and it will make an air pocket when you lie in that bed. You can even use this hack to hide your bed away, because nobody will expect to see it there. Freak your friends out with this wild pig riding hack. See, if you make your floor out of path blocks and put a gap underneath the floor, you can ride a pig through that empty space, and your head will pop out of the path like a severed head greeting your guests. The nether looks great, and this hack lets you bring it to the safety of your own home. Instead of using a portal, put the obsidian blocks in your wall, then go through and recreate the nether on the other side. You get all the looks with none of the danger. This sneaky hack lets you hide vines under item frames, which you can then place maps over or paintings. The vines are hidden but still work, letting you climb them like invisible ladders. Need a truly secret entrance? This hack lets you use a composter as a trapdoor. If you drop an item here, it falls into a hopper minecart, which activates a mechanism and drops you underground, allowing you out into your secret base. Having a villager at home is old news. This hack lets you have a totally tame pillager. Just trap one in a boat and row it back home. He'll be shooting the whole time, but he won't hit you, and will eventually break his crossbow, making him totally harmless. This one is my butler. I call him Barry Halls. Minecart rails also have the same effect, and you can make cool patterns out of them. But they have a second effect I think is even more interesting. For some reason, mobs see rails as completely impassable objects and won't ever walk over them. So if you surround your base with a railway, it'll be completely safe from the horrors of the outside world, and you get a fun little roller coaster too. Even though zombies can knock down doors with these, for some reason they're completely stopped by trapdoors. And given we can easily hop on all fours and crawl beneath, this simple setup works perfectly as a door that zombies have absolutely no hope of breaking down. Eating a chorus fruit will teleport you to a random nearby block, even if that block is maybe on the other side of a wall. So if you head underground and build a tunnel like this, making sure to place carpets on the ground, you can build a base on the other side of the wall that can be instantly entered by simply eating a chorus fruit. However, I think the best possible secret entrance is one that I've never seen anybody use. Simply dying can teleport you tens of thousands of blocks away depending on where you set your spawn. So you can make an underground obsidian bunker far away from anything else, store your items in an ender chest, and instantly teleport there. Then you can build a machine like this to obstruct your spawn point for 60 seconds and instantly respawn at 0-0 again. This mushroom is a light source. It may not look it, but the brown mushroom is generating the lowest light in the game, light level 1. Before glowberries, it might have been the only food that could glow. In fact, this is actually based on real mushrooms that glow in the dark. In the Java edition, you can use rail tracks to block mobs completely. Certain enemies like zombies and piglins will not cross the rails unless they're a phantom and fly over it. This lava is trapped! The pressure plate technically fills that space with stone, so the lava can't flow into it. Use it as a decoration in your house. It's totally safe until someone decides to break it. Here's how to make your pond 10 times better super easily. With waterlogged blocks, you can create detailed rocks in your pond with stairs and slabs that add a little extra detail and even give you a cool way to get across. Next, instead of the normal boring lily pads we have, try creating your own using 4 drip leaves and some flowering azalea leaves to make a big colorful lily pad. You can also use a bamboo trapdoor with pink candles on top if you're living in the future. And lastly, if it's a really big pond you're trying to decorate, try doing something similar with drip leaves, lily pads, and azalea leaves to create a huge floating algae mat. It's kinda gross though, doesn't smell good either. Oh wait, that's just me, my bad. Back in the alpha days of Minecraft, there used to be way less blocks and almost no ways to properly decorate your builds. This meant people had to create their own solutions. Since trapdoors didn't exist, people used to glitch regular doors into looking like trapdoors by breaking the bottom half with a cactus, finally letting them actually decorate their world just as Notch intended. With all the carpet traps out there, most people are terrified to even step foot on them, which makes them perfect for the most illegal hidden entrance yet. You can jump on turtle eggs through carpets, and it'll break the carpet as well as the egg, sending you straight down to anything you build below. Sea turtles are endangered in real life, by the way, making this one actually illegal. If you place perfectly white maps on sea lanterns or glowstone, you can make a super trippy infinite room. Most people use this to troll their friends, but honestly, I think it makes a super cool house. Just try not to get a headache smacking into the walls. You can use a similar trick to make custom wallpaper for your house. Depending on your dedication, you can make custom blocks, simple patterns, or super ornate drawings rivaled only by glazed terracotta, whatever that's supposed to be. Using a hoe or a shovel on dirt will send a pulse to a hidden observer, letting you create wild hidden bases like the one Mr. Insane made in his world. This does seem like a lot of effort for a single-player world though. What are you hiding it from? Herobrine? Something slightly more practical is this instant base idea that uses nothing but saplings. At the start of your world, put some oak saplings down where you want the walls. Once you're back from mining or looking for food, your house will have literally built itself. If you want something even less suspicious, try breaking a hole beneath a lava pool and placing some water like this, and building your base down here. Lava pools are totally natural and nobody ever touches them on a server, making them the perfect place to slip into, even if it is a little painful. The only other place in the entire game that mobs can't spawn is actually an ocean temple. It's true, the game is coded so that only guardians can spawn in them, meaning that if you remove all the water, absolutely no mobs will spawn nearby. You're gonna need a lot of sponges or a massive machine, but at the end you're left with a pre-built mob-free paradise. But if you'd rather not do all that work, there are ways to completely mob-proof your base easily. Not only do slabs basically double the amount of blocks you have for floors and roofs, but mobs can't spawn on bottom slabs, meaning even if your house is pitch black, nothing will be able to spawn inside. You could even add soul sand below and use soul speed to run around your house super quickly. This soft hack lets you soundproof your surroundings. Wool can actually be used to block sounds from getting to a skulk sensor, which is great if you only wanted noticing people breaking into your house. Cobblestone generators can be a pain with the risk of making obsidian, but mangrove roots save you from that struggle in a crazy hack. Waterlogged mangrove roots count as a water source block, but it doesn't flow, so the water won't touch the lava, meaning obsidian won't get made, but you'll get cobblestone all day. Daylight sensors can be used in all sorts of genius hacks, including this grandfather clock that actually tells the time. The sensor can detect the gradual change in lights depending on the time of day and will send signal updates based on that. Connect that to a bell and you've got a countdown to nightfall. This honey block hack makes a great conveyor belt, as the blocks are pushed around with pistons in a circle. You can put armor stands or even loose items on that honey, and it will carry it around. It's been used for armor sets and even for a sushi bar. Surrounding a bed with slabs makes it look kind of like a sleeping bag, but I've always thought the regular bed was quite small, so instead of just placing one down and leaving it at that, try making a bigger custom one like this. Also, I made these pillows with snow layer blocks. They look so soft. This layout of campfires, trapdoors, and hopper minecarts looks like a stovetop. And if you place a dragon head backwards, it kinda works perfectly as a toaster. Although I don't know if I'd want to eat that grey bread. But if you'd rather just cheat, you can use custom texture packs to change block designs for super detailed and useful new blocks. And if you want to go all the way, custom mob heads offer literally infinite possibilities for extra detail, like cakes, kitchen appliances, and smaller versions of blocks we already have. You can mix these in with blocks like iron bars to make things like CCTV cameras, but a skeleton head will work fine for this in a pinch. Oh, and if you've made a TV or computer somewhere in your house, backwards with the skeleton heads make great speakers. Sure, chests work fine, but campfires make for way cooler food storage. You could also take it one step further and use invisible item frames to hang fish off chains like this. Gold ore looks like honey that's dripped onto the floor, and gilded blackstone looks the same but for lava instead. You can use stairs and slabs to add extra texture to walls like missing bricks, and to create holes as if it's crumbling and degrading. But if you're really dedicated to decoration, you can make maps with any design you want to, and then fill item frames up with them for custom wallpaper. Just stick to texture packs though, that's a lot of effort. You can easily set up a daylight sensor next to a bell to make a simple, functioning alarm clock. Alternatively, hook this up to arrow and healing dispensers next to a dog that shoot every morning for the rest of time. We all know about chains, and I mentioned a way to make much bigger chains with grindstones in my last build hacks video. But if you need something a little smaller, try facing two sets of trapdoors into each other like this. To create a wooden chain, you can even change the color off. Buttons placed in invisible items on logs look suspiciously like bugs crawling all over it. Bugs that, by the way, you cannot eat. Do not, under any circumstances, ever eat the bugs. Ever! Speaking of bugs, in Bedrock Edition, you can place buttons on the top and bottom of fences, allowing for extra decoration. But in Java version, you can't do either. Honestly, I'm not sure if this is a bug or not, but it's still kind of annoying. Red and yellow candles make really good ketchup and mustard bottles for a diner or bar. And green candles are perfect replicas of beer. Wait, did someone say beer? Glow lighting is used for all sorts of creative hacks, such as this carpet balcony that looks great and glows to light up a restaurant while keeping deadly mobs from spawning. This icy hack lets you build an ice rink super fast in the desert. Most people see frost walker boots as mostly pointless because you need to be moving and the ice melts really quickly. However, if you build an ice lake underground, the sun can't get to it, and you can create a winter wonderland under the Sahara. This speedy hack lets you mine out a large area of stone incredibly quickly so you can focus on making your underground base. All you have to do is put down some moss, use bone meal, and the moss replaces all the stone around it while leaving the precious metals like diamonds and iron. If you dig it out with a stone hoe, it goes almost immediately. Banners aren't just good to show your colors, they can imitate metal in this crazy hack. With the right designs and placement, banners can look like sheet metal, perfect for builds designed to look like big industrial machines. Now think about it, if you can remove all the mobs in your world, there's no need to protect your base. So how on earth do you do that? Well, as usual, Lamango has a solution. If you create this super simple warden farm, you can use note blocks to lure dozens of wardens into this prison with a vine inside. Eventually, so many wardens will spawn that it prevents any mob from spawning anywhere in the entire world. However, this is terrifying, and there's a much easier way to get basically the same effect. Simply grab a boat and spend some time looking for a mushroom island. Other than the deep dark, which has other problems, this is the only place mobs won't spawn naturally. And it's the perfect backdrop to build an awesome fantasy base. They can be quite hard to find, but you can always use a seed map if you're feeling devious. It's kind of annoying Minecraft's water can only ever be 1 block wide, meaning you can't make small droplets or tiny streams very easily. However, blue glass panes work as a perfect substitute for cases like this. The same goes for ice. How do we have ice and dripstone but no icicles? Well, maybe it's because Mojang knows that light blue glass panes do the job perfectly, but come on, I can't take out zombies with them, so what's even the point? Whenever you're building a hedge in your world, try placing podzol beneath the leaves. This both acts like a shadow, but also kind of looks like leaf litter or mulch beneath the hedge. I really like the word mulch, by the way. Mulch. Wait, what are we doing? Oh yeah, build hacks. Did you know you can place nether plants like crimson fungus or warped roots outside of the nether? What's really weird is that you can only place them on grass or dirt, not cobblestone. This is super weird to me because netherrack and cobble seem most similar to me. But I guess now we know netherrack is just like hard dirt. What? My head hurts. Walking over or punching redstone ore activates observers, meaning you can create hidden cave bases really easily, or even hide some under a carpet or snow for a hidden entrance that'll probably just end up getting activated by a chicken or something. For something a little more secure, try hiding a hopper beneath a block and having a special item filter that only opens with a block named a certain way. Hoppers work under snow, slabs, soul sand, or even path blocks, but you can take it one step further by using a hopper minecart instead, as it'll pick up items through literally any block in the game. Hoppers can take items through path blocks because they're just a little smaller than a full block. We can take advantage of this in another way by hiding a lever under a tree next to some dirt and using a shovel or hoe to reveal it. Duplicate end portals endlessly with this trick. You need to make a world in 1.19 Java Edition and then update it to 1.20. If you place an end block tower on the exit portal, once you kill the dragon or place an ender crystal, a duplicate end portal will be spawned. Sneak up on your friends while sprinting full speed with this trick. If you move to the absolute edge of a block so that the middle of your screen is above the next block over, the game will behave like you're on that block. If the block is empty, then when sprinting, you'll cause no noise or particles. This house is on fire! But these slabs are completely unharmed. That's because they're made with the new petrified oak slabs. They look like oak, but petrified means they are like stone. They don't catch fire, you mine them with a pickaxe, and make drum beats when put on a note block. Sand can be dangerous falling on top of you, but you can fall in from above too. This quicksand is placed above cobwebs, while command blocks watch for a player walking over it. Step over a cobweb and your command triggers, pulling them in. So watch your step or you'll fall in too. Oh no! No! Ah! Speaking of, nether wart blocks make a fantastic blood substitute. For city builders, try placing a campfire below a loom to simulate a vent. This same technique also works for a barbecue grill. 1.20 already has me hyped. Check out these new bamboo blocks they're giving us. You can use these mosaic blocks to make cool floor patterns, and these new chiseled bookshelves for a new wall design. Maybe mix in other wooden blocks again to make it even more interesting. Sea pickles look kind of like pumpkin stems, and a stripped mangrove log, flower pot, and mangrove propagule put together makes a really big beetroot for farm decoration. But if that's not enough, try adding kegs made of trapdoors with raw iron in for potatoes and coral blocks in for berries and grapes. This works for other things too, like using a respawn anchor and trident instead to make a spooky animated witch's cauldron. Item frames and signs can actually be placed on the same block, letting you double label chests. You can even dye the sign for extra customization. Scaffolding makes a perfect table to put flower pots or other decorations on. Sometimes the only thing your build is missing is just a little bit of detail, and often buttons are the best solution to this. Whether it's dotting them around around your roof and walls, or chucking them next to a pond as pebbles. They're perfect for adding a little bit of extra interest. They make great fidget toys too. If you're looking for an extra block or color to add somewhere to your build, the answer is probably in a stripped log. Their textures are super simple, but with mangrove, jungle, acacia, and warped logs, there's tons of different and interesting colors to choose from. 6 lecterns placed like this look suspiciously like a coffin that's been broken out of. This pairs perfectly with a gravestone made of soul soil, anvils, and a wither skeleton skull. If you've got a cramped house like this one and you're trying to figure out where to put the ladder, try placing a line of trapdoors like this and putting the ladders on them. Alternatively, if you're creative, try using the debug stick to create floating ladders that take up even less space. Now that's ingenuity. Here's a cool way to make an armor stand look like it's holding a sword. Start by placing an end rod with a candle on top, then pushing an armor stand into it from behind. Then put some armor on it and push 2 blocks down behind it, and you have your very own knight in shining armor. And since you're obviously building a sick castle if you make this, you can make awesome ornate carpets using a combination of shulker boxes and glazed terracotta. Hey, I don't want to hear anything about how expensive shulkers are. You own a castle! As long as the colors are similar, it really doesn't matter how you lay out carpet. It'll look cool either way. If you're trying to make a dark, creepy cave, try adding shadowy cracks with signs inside. If you add this character to them, dye it red and add a glow ink sac. It'll create these super scary looking eyes that glow in the darkness. Come on, Grandma, take a look. This huge building is watching! See, if you put this banner design behind the trapdoor, the sway animation on the banner will make it emerge outward, looking like it's opening and closing its eyes. This fancy chair has secret storage compartments filled with food, perfect for lazing around. The key is that the decorative layer is actually a traveler's llama. The llama itself has been turned invisible and has storage boxes attached to it. It's everything you need from a comfy chair. And if you're ever left with a ton of wet sponges for whatever reason, don't dry them in a furnace. Instead, take them to the nether where they'll dry out instantly in the heat. Then you can use an enchanted hoe to pick them up super fast and get straight back to sucking. God, why did I just say that? Launch into space with this crazy hack. If you pack a bunch of cows or pigs together in one space in this hack, you can cause entity cramming. This kills off the animals until it's at the max allowed in that space. If you jump into that space with them while wearing elytra, you can launch yourself out at an insane speed. Want to make a huge tower that's near unbreakable? Here's a super fast way of doing it. Make the outline of your tower at the height you want the tower to be. Put lava pouring off the sides and then pour water from atop that. Remove the water and you've got a near impenetrable fortress. Strongholds almost always have a massive library, so don't bother going through the trouble of making them yourself. If you want an enchanting table, just find a stronghold and you can set it right there. You don't need a furnace or smoker to cook your food, not anymore at least. As with a campfire, you can cook 4 pieces of food at once, basically for free. Put a hay bale underneath the campfire to give it a smoky flavor. Pros note to never use lava to get rid of your items. It's dangerous and there's no second chances. Instead, use a cactus. Make a cross-shaped hole, cover it, put a trapdoor above, and a button above that. Now you can throw your items on the trapdoor. If you throw the wrong item, you can just pick it up again. Then when you're ready, press the button and watch the items get deleted by a cactus. I can't see this as anything but a trap. It looks totally normal, but this bed is on scaffolding. You'd think that would work, but there's actually a bug that causes the game to think you don't have a bed at all. When you die, you'll end up at the original spawn. Candles are powerful, but only on cakes. In Java Edition, the cake will not get waterlogged, pushing the water away while the little candle burns bright and strong. I can't look at people's farms anymore. All I think about is how slow they're growing. That's because people don't know how you're supposed to alternate your veggies in rows. One row of carrots, one of potatoes, and another of whatever else you're growing. For some reason, the plants grow way faster as a result. Redstone activation can be slow over long distances, but did you know that wall connectors count as a redstone connecting block no matter how tall it is? That means you can instantly activate redstone with a contraption like this. Choo-choo! Here comes a steam train you've never heard of. This actually has been a feature of the game for over a decade and works by pushing a furnace minecart into other minecarts. They connect to each other, and then when you feed the furnace and send it on its way, it moves at high speed like a real steam train, complete with steam. Choo-choo! This sneaky little trick lets you copy a structure you've made and paste it wherever you like. Create a grand statue and fill your friend's world with your monstrous art. Minecarts can fit almost any mob, including sniffers, ravagers, and even guests. That's a hell of a visitor when you send it down the rails to your friend's home base. This mound of snow holds a secret. It's actually an igloo, and exactly 50% of the time there's a secret trapdoor underneath, leading to a golden apple, a zombie villager, and a regular villager. If you cure the zombie villager, you've got yourself the makings of a brand new village. If your friend is online and you can access a house, play a really weird trick by building an upside-down version of their house on top of their regular house. It's a bizarre, mind-bending monument that will take time to remove, if they even want to. Friends can be very trusting, leaving themselves AFK in your world. You could play this pretty unknown trick. Set down a composter and fill it up, leaving leaving just 3 pixels of space. Then push them in and close the door. They'll actually be trapped and can only escape by breaking the whole thing. If your friend does carpet, a wicked trick is to put magma blocks in the floor and cover it with matching carpet. Watch for your friend to come home and watch as they hop around, confused, as they take damage from their beloved carpet. Here's a trick that will freak your friends out. Carpet can actually be placed on any non-air block, even lava. It's tricky and dangerous, but you can walk on lava like it's nothing. It's easiest with moss carpet, as that doesn't burn. The light of a beacon looks great from close or far. The cool secret aspect is how it reacts to stained glass. Each glass put in the way of the beam changes the color, making millions of possible shades. A secret, dirty little trick you can do is build an end portal above your friend's bed, so when they respawn, they'll instantly teleport to the end and will have to live there until the bed or the portal is broken. A fish out of water bounces and flops, but you can actually get them jumping way higher. On a slime block, they'll gain height, sometimes up to 17 blocks high. A cool secret your friends won't know is that while witches can fight each other, they might never win. Their healing potion is more than their damage, so you can put them in a glass box and set them up as a permanent display. This special secret about iron could save your home, because it turns out an iron chain is the same resistance against explosions as a full iron block, despite being made with way less materials. Put them in your walls and you've got a fortress. One thing only pros know is if you push yourself into the end portal from underneath with a piston, you won't spawn on the main end island, and instead will spawn at your overworld coordinates in the end, which can make tons of super deadly traps. Turns out locking is easier than you think, as you can add a glass pane to a map to lock it, meaning it won't update if anything changes. This can be great for documenting the progress of your base over time, or creating a permanent design of an upside down T.